Okay. So, I guess we should start with a brief introduction of the Silverdale, which we've kind of collaborated on a little bit.
Yes.
The Silverdale forest in this world is pretty calm and peaceful for the most part. There are dangers that present themselves, but few and far in between, and especially you being a Firbolg and especially a druid can easily kind of circumnavigate and you know, like, where dangers might come up and so on, you know. So but yeah, the Silverdale is pretty, it's large. It's a lot of things, a lot of lost history or forgotten history that dwells within. The village of Miraki that you normally trade with is mostly dwarves, humans, and halflings for the most part. Pretty quaint people. Nothing much. They pretty much keep to themselves and trade with various druidic tribes in the region.
I would assume.
Yeah. And then we'll say you and Figwin, your mother, are approximately living around this area.
Okay.
This, technically, what I've done is if you measure with a ruler, I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah.
But each foot is an hour of travel. So it'd pretty much take you from, like, dawn till dusk to get to Anchorage.
It's like 6.5 hours travel.
No, this is like 18 hours.
No, I mean to where we're living.
Oh, well, maybe I only want to make it like maybe a couple hours at most.
Okay, so it's on the closer side.
Yeah, it's on the closer side. We'll say, yeah, it's about like, it's in there. Well, what the fuck?
I don't know. I did that. I don't know how to undo it. I was trying to do a ruler like you said, and then it made a circle.
Click it. Hold on, I think I know
Uh-huh.
what you did. I know what you did. Don't go to the ruler. Go to the little icon with the person, and then hit the ruler.
Ah,
Measure distance. So the
yeah.
lands are
So I'm guessing.
the lands are fairly large. You said your druidic tribe was like up in this region, right?
So yeah, somewhere up here.
And we'll say you and Figwin kind of moved closer to Miraki because that was kind of it better suited to your lifestyle. You could easily trade and do trades more often rather than when you were in the tribe. So as of this moment, Iljor is currently within the outskirts of Miraki. Technically within the town, but kind of more so on the outskirts than deep. You normally trade with a certain number of humans and dwarves in this sort of region of the town. And you are currently with a dwarven individual who you have never dealt with before, but you've been swindled probably a couple times in, I want to say, a couple times ever, almost. At least within the last 5 years. So the people of Miraki is very trustworthy in your eyes.
Yeah.
But anyways, you're with a dwarven individual right now on the outskirts. For the most part of the day, you've kind of traded. You've traded all of your belongings for gold and other things, and you're left with a owlbear pelt that this dwarf is trying to buy from you. Other than that,
What's his name?
you haven't gotten his name yet. But
Okay.
during the negotiations, he's kind of looking over the owlbear pelt. You know, like it's it's fairly decent. You know, you've been doing this for a while, and even your mother would maybe kind of input, every once in a while. But he's kind of looking it over meticulously, feeling for various, basically the quality.
Yeah.
Looking at it, he sets it back down on the table that you're currently sitting at, or standing at. I'm sorry. He goes, I'll tell you what. 3 gold pieces, and I'll even throw in a half gallon of milk. But not just any milk. This milk is magically enhanced. This thing will sit on your shelf for weeks, possibly even months.
I don't know, is that a good price for an hour belt?
You could probably get more if you spent a little while out here, but it's not a terrible price. Plus, with the milk, makes it kind of,
have I ever heard of something like this before?
Yes, you have, actually. It's kind of uncommon, but...
Shelf-stable milk?
Yeah, it's just magically, it's like, it's milk, only magically enhanced to kind of last longer on shelves. It's not...
Like, I'm assuming the container is what's enhanced, as opposed to the fluid itself.
No, it's the actual milk.
Oh.
If you were to pour it into something else, it would have had the exact same properties.
Magic cows, then.
The process from what you're
just
aware of...
Just like the brown cows.
For the process from what you're aware of, it's more so like the milk comes out, it's like regular milk, and then it gets basically enchanted / blessed. Well, it'd be like kind of like how a priest would bless water. It would be like this was blessed
holy
by
milk.
It'd be like a wizard had enchanted it.
I'm just fucking with you, right?
Yeah, I know. You get it.
Yeah.
So, what do you say?
Well, that seems like a pretty good deal to me.
Great. Then, give me one moment as he kind of reaches into his pouch. Digs out, he hears the clinking of coins. Sets 3 gold pieces down on the table. Just one moment while I get the milk. He reaches under the table from where you can't see into what you assume is like a bag, and pulls out this half-gallon glass jar of this white milk. But as you peer into it, it's kind of like this milky, it's not all the way blue milk, but it's got like streaks of blue, kind of like a bluish pearlescent almost.
Yeah, that's what I was imagining, like opal almost, like the rainbow.
Yeah, it looks white if you were to just glance at it, but upon further inspection, it is more of like a blue pearlescent that to the untrained eye might almost go for regular milk. But he sets it on the table. He takes the owlbear pelt and he goes, "Well, I don't know if you have anything else, but I should probably be getting back home. But it was a pleasure doing business with you." Oh, my name, Niccolo.
Niccolo. Well, it was good trading with you, and maybe we'll have the opportunity to trade once again in the future.
Absolutely, anytime. You know where you can find me in this district.
We'll have a good night.
And he turns around, puts the owlbear pelt across his shoulder, and begins walking back towards the town center. And most of what's around you right now is residential houses along the outskirts. More so into the town is where you'll find people kind of moving about and everything. This isn't a huge village by any means, but a lot of the trades, especially from druidic tribes and outside folk, are done along on the outskirts because people just, you never know how people are. But you have basically sold your provisions, or not your provisions, but your items, pelts, various wooden trinkets, herbs, spices, everything. And you've garnered about probably 14 gold for the day. So it is completely up to you what you would like to do at this moment.
Maybe I'll go get a drink.
Okay. Venturing further into Miraki, By no means you're not unfamiliar with this land. So you head to the inn, which is not very lively at this moment. Right now it's probably you've spent the better part of the day trading with people.
It's like the afternoon.
Oh yeah, it's the late afternoon for sure.
It's like 3-4 o'clock.
Yeah, right. Probably like 4 or 5. It's probably gonna get dusk in a few hours.
Sure.
And it's about an hour and a half walk back to Figwin,
Sure.
your mother. But as you venture, probably takes you about 10-15 minutes to walk further into town. As you come upon the tavern, which is it's just a tavern. It's the inn is kind of off to the side.
Sure.
The tavern that you know of is ran by a dwarven individual. Dwarven individual named Goddard. He's a middle-aged dwarven fellow who usually just keeps to himself. Short, dark hair, thick beard. Doesn't drink as often as a normal dwarf. He's normally pretty smart about when and where to kind of consume that
Sure.
that stuff. But
What's his name?
Goddard.
Goddard.
Yep. And like I said, walking into town, basically the center is filled with your alchemy shops, magic shops, various, shops. Walking into the tavern, it's very small, only a few tables, maybe a couple booths. You swing the wooden doors open, and you get the scent of like old cedar wood, much like you would think a tavern would smell like. But it's a very familiar smell. This isn't your first time here, by no means.
Smells like home.
Yeah. You have a human walking behind the counter, doing various things, writing what he seems like to be writing something down on a pen and paper, and then kind of peppering the tables in the dim light is various races, much of like halfling and human.
What's his name? Is he new? Is he familiar?
No, you know this man's name as Kirk.
Hey, Kirk.
Iljor, it's always a pleasure seeing you.
Do you have any of that root brew from that dwarven tribe nearby?
Rude brew. Let me go check the back. I think we just got a shipment in. He stops what he's writing and goes to the back. You see actually a couple humans walk in, look around. They don't seem to be familiar, or they don't seem to be familiar to you. Could be travelers passing by. I nod if we meet eyes. Yeah, absolutely.
As they walk in.
Absolutely. And they're dressed in various just commoner garb. Nothing too crazy. Maybe travelers from a nearby village, but nothing suspicious or interesting, really. They kind of give you a nod as you maintain eye contact for a split second, and then they go and take a booth at the corner of the room. A few more seconds goes by, and Kirk comes out with a pint in his hand. Iljor, here
Excellent.
you go. It's on the house. You come here way too often.
Oh, you're too kind, Kirk. You're too kind.
Say, what you been selling today?
Oh, the usual. I just sold my last owlbear pelt.
Oh, yeah.
To
What's
a
it like taking
fella.
one of those down?
Oh, well, I do my best not to disrupt things too much, so, it was an older owlbear on the older side. I don't like to take the young ones. It's not good for the ecosystem,
Of course.
It just, you've got to be patient, for sure. Because
Absolutely.
they're very observant. So you've just got to be careful.
Absolutely. I've only seen one once, and it strayed too far to town, and needless to say, I got out of there quick. But yeah, that's
Those paws of theirs with the claws are they can do some major damage.
And he kind of changes his posture a little bit, lowers his voice. So, how's your mother doing? She doing all right?
She's doing okay. I sold some of her goods. town. She's, she's getting a little bit older, but she's doing fine.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Well, if you need anything, I'll be out busting tables. Just call my name, and
Sure.
yeah, I'll be around.
I owe you one for the drink.
No, please, absolutely, you don't have to. And
I'm
before
not
you,
talking about paying.
Oh,
I owe you a favor.
how do you mean?
Whatever you need. If you want something specific from the forest, I'll do my best to get it for you.
And his
Whatever
posture,
you want.
his posture goes from like kind of slouched over to a little upright, and Iljor, I'll remember that one. I will remember that one. And before you could say anything else, he kind of walks back behind, or not behind the counter, but like to the back, and doors swing open, goes back, so they swing closed. You can hear various voices coming from the back of line cooks and stuff like that, making meals and doing various prep work for the evening.
This root brew I made up, by the way, I'm imagining it's sort of like a cinnamony, plant type, like fermented type thing. Something you'd expect to come from a dwarf, from druids and stuff.
Root brew, ROOT.
Yeah, root brew.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a fermented, herbal, spicy kind of thing.
Gotcha. Locally brewed, I presume.
Yeah, by one of the druids nearby.
Okay.
Not my tribe, but someone a little bit closer to town.
Okay. As you sit there enjoying the brew, the minutes pass. People come in, they come out. You could see through the various dirty windows, kind of that are sparsely located along the walls and like the corners of the windows. You can see cobwebs and dirt. Like they've been kind of kept, but like they show some age. This place is sort of
It's
old.
not the shiniest, newest place.
Right, and you can see the blue sky outside go from a light blue to more like a darkish turquoise as dusk is probably within the next couple hours, within the next hour or so.
He also happened to recognize in the tavern, but
not really, no. There's only probably like 4 or 5 people in here, and the two people.
I just imagine, like, the way he said, I come in here really often. I would imagine, there might be some regulars that I might recognize.
No, not at the moment. It's a lot of the regulars come in towards the evening times.
I'm a little bit early for them. Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit,
Well, I'll finish up my glass, and I'll head out home.
Okay. Leaving the tavern, probably an hour before dusk sets.
Have a good night, Kirk.
And you kind of see him peek out from behind the doors. You too, Iljor, have a good one. He kind of immediately pops his head back into the back, finishing up whatever tasks he has to do.
I'm making up dinner for the tavern instead.
Let's drag you to the scene.
The Silverdown Forest. You cannot switch scenes until resources finish loading for your current view.
Till resources load what?
You cannot. It's telling me I cannot switch scenes until resources finish loading for your current view. That keeps popping up. Because the Silverdale Forest hasn't loaded yet.
Oh. Still saying it?
It said it again.
Can you click on Silverdale and like go there?
Where?
Up at the top, when you click the arrow.
No, it's saying again you cannot switch scenes until you finish loading.
That's weird.
What is it? Escape, right click, reload application?
Yeah, try that. There, you should be on it.
Yep.
Okay, so, as you venture out, we'll go ahead.
Nice little animated scene thing you got here.
Yeah, I found a nice Patreon that does animated images for Theater of the Mind, so.
Wow.
Anyways, venturing out further, from Miraki. Probably around 45 minutes into your journey, as you're not far from dusk. And being a druid that you are, you don't always follow the paths.
Sort of go my own way.
Yeah, you sort of go your own way, and you're not. It's not like you would ever get lost. There would have to be some sort of strong magical presence for you to get lost. You've lived in these woods all your life, and just because there's a path doesn't mean it's the safest. And you're
bandits and such.
Yeah, you're very, very, very good at just going straight from point A to point B, knowing your way. But 30 minutes or so into your journey, as you're kind of walking along the thicket of the forest, the trees reach fairly high into the air, but nothing like crazy like a redwood or anything. The Silverdale is pretty tame when it comes to tree height, unlike some
It's just an
forests.
old-growth forest, you know?
Yeah, with various clearings here and there, but as you're walking, you hear the sounds of soft stomps, if that kind of makes any sense. They're loud thuds that kind of sound like a stomp, but they're very soft, and they're not like...
They're distant.
They're not super distant. They're probably... They seem fairly close. But normally with a stomp, the sound is very abrupt.
So it's more of like a sack hitting the ground.
Kind of.
Than an actual like foot stomping or something.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
curious as to what that is. It sounds vaguely familiar to a tree ant walking.
Wooden stumps smashed in your head. Sense. Okay. They're not aggressive, are they?
No,
I mean, not especially bad.
No.
Considering a druid of the forest and all.
Yeah, absolutely. As you venture further forward, probably another 30 seconds to 45 seconds goes by, and you see, it almost kind of takes you off guard a little bit, this large tree ant, probably around half the size of the rest of the trees, but still fairly large. And he doesn't seem to recognize you yet, although he looks kind of familiar to you. You are familiar with various tree ants in the area, many of them actually. They come kind of like in tribes, like druids, but their numbers range from 1 to 5. Nothing crazy.
Hopes. Hopes of tree ants.
Yeah, basically. And like you said, they're not aggressive. They're very neutral creatures. They don't. I said they kind of live together a little bit, but they mostly just roam from one place to another without ever having like a stable.
They're just familiar with each other.
Yeah, and no matter where they go, they view the Silverdale as their home. So it's not like they're getting up and going somewhere.
Moving.
Yeah, they're
it's
not
like
moving.
they're moving.
Exactly.
It's like going from one room into your house into another room.
Exactly. But you notice this tree ant, and you recognize him. This particular tree ant is named Alderwood. And you have a previous history with him, kind of running into him along your way between Miraki and your home, essentially. I don't know what you want to call your home, your cabin.
Hut.
Yeah, your hut with Figwin. And you've conversed with him many times, but he doesn't seem to notice you. He seems to be walking sort of in a diagonal path.
Like cutting across the way I'm traveling?
Kind
so I'm
of.
going like this and he's going like this?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Alderwood.
You can see kind of the last thump hit the ground as he slowly turns, and you can you hear this shh brush as he turns around, and you can see this large kind of thick trunk as you see like this, the face is built into the trunk fairly well, to the point of if he were to sit still and make no facial expression, it would seem like a regular tree.
It's just like part of like the bark, like it just looks like
kind of part of like a bark. As he turns around, you can see the leaves kind of shimmer and just go back and forth. He turns around, Iljor, as he kind of like he's very slow to move. By the way, as he slowly turns,
I get closer to him, as opposed to making him walk to me, because I know it takes him a while to move around.
As he moves towards you, he begins to bend down. What are you doing in the forest as of recent?
Oh, I was just done in Miroki with the business for today, heading home.
That's wonderful. Have you sold anything?
Yeah, I got rid of that owlbear pelt from that one that was giving us a little bit of trouble.
I don't say it enough, Iljor, but I appreciate you a lot.
Well, thank you. Thank you all the way.
Can I accompany you to where you're going?
Sure, I'm heading home.
Perfect. As you kind of, wherever you're walking, he kind of like begins to stride along, and kind of like making his strides shorter to accompany, you're fairly tall. You're like, what, 8, 9 foot?
7 foot-ish, yeah.
7 foot. You're half giant, so he has to kind of slow his pace a little bit, but
So he's like what, like 14 feet?
Yeah, probably in the range
20.
of like, probably in the range of like 16, 17 foot.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, as you guys begin walking, he turns back to you and says, "Now, there were some troubles up here. Wolves and such. I would be careful."
Oh. Are they giving the forest folk trouble?
They've been killing various bears, black bears. They haven't been attacking the treants, but we've kind of taken note of their mark.
Taking more than they need?
Possibly. All I know is that they're sort of becoming a burden on some of us. It's nothing. It's been a minute since they've attacked any of our livestock or any of our other treants.
Say so. But I'll definitely keep an eye out. I can't have them making trouble in our home.
Well, of course. But I digress to a different topic. Your mother, Figwin, how is she doing?
She is getting older in her years, but still as crafty as ever, making wonderful products that are allowing us to live on our own. So, it could be worse.
Understandable. Well, here's about where I depart from our path. Hopefully I see you again in your next journey to Miroki.
Of course, my friend.
As he takes...
Now just keep an eye out for any trouble in the forest and let me know next time.
As he takes a long straight left. Absolutely. And begins to walk more so along the direction he was going.
May your roots grow strong and your leaves grow long.
He ventures off further in the distance, kind of blending in with the rest of the trees, and almost like he doesn't really disappear behind a tree. It's like he just molds.
Becomes part of the background.
Becomes part of the forest. It's a very weird sight. It's not like someone, like a human, would be like hiding behind a tree. He just molds into the background.
Those rocks put somewhere where they're safe, so no one accidentally knocks them on the floor.
Yeah, I will.
So, as you venture,
I'm gonna make that that's a canon saying now.
Okay, sweet.
May your roots grow strong and your leaves grow long.
venturing out further, probably another 15 or 20 minutes. Alone, in the forest, the same kind of way you've taken many times, over the same log, jumping over the same little creek that you've jumped many times, going up over hills that you've explored many times.
Any interesting new growth since the last time I really paid attention to the path? Any interesting mushrooms or anything?
Do you want to stop? Do you want to stop and look?
Yeah, sure. I'll take a minute.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Sick.
Well, there you go.
The first die roll of the campaign is a natural 20.
I'd say that it was a good idea, Ryan. You did decide to pick this campaign, huh?
Absolutely. As you take a moment to kind of percept the landscape, you notice in one particular part this kind of glow coming from under a dead log. You can't quite see what's under it, but the light emitting is very faint. And probably the only reason you're able to see this right now is that it's getting sort of more dusk, and the treetops are obscuring the sunlight above. But as you peer around this very faint blue glow, you begin to notice the basically a patch of fungi. This mushroom is familiar. You've seen it a couple times, not very often, as the time in which they grow and basically are in season are only a matter of days.
Like when they're sprouting, they're only actually...
Yeah, they're only actually emitting this glow and blue light and everything. They only do this over a period of a couple days every 4 to 6 weeks. Like it's very it's very uncommon. And these mushrooms don't really look like any other. They look like a regular mushroom essentially, but they just give off this like faint blue glow. The effects, if you were to eat them, they would make you feel slightly different, in the sense that they kind of up your mood a little bit. Nothing super magical about them. They're mainly just used to as a mood enhancer. But yeah, other than that, that's probably the only.
Can I use my herbalism kit to try to pick it up without making too much damage to it?
Yeah. Was that with the kits? Do you normally roll for that, or?
I don't know how it works.
Okay. I will say that because you are so well established with the forest, if this was like a foreign forest, maybe I'd have you roll. But since you're so well ventured and well traveled, you're able to do this with the herbalism kit. As you ever so faintly pinch along the stem and twist, come up with the mushroom, making sure to kind of leave a little bit behind so that another mushroom could sprout in its place. But yeah, you can take the mushroom, add it to your kit.
What do you want me to call it?
Just type blue mushroom.
Consumable.
Yeah.
No, not dual proficiency. Consumable. Yeah. There.
And as you are doing this, you hear off in the distance these kind of weird scuffle sounds and faint growling. As you come forward, curious as you are, you peer upon, just around a tree, approximately 2 wolves feasting on a dead bear carcass. Now, this is where we're going to do a little bit of a skill challenge instead of a full-fledged encounter. Now, you can pick a skill, whether that be stealth to stealth around them, animal handling to kind of calm them down if they're hostile, which in your experience, wolves tend to be more hostile, especially if they are feasting.
They're hungry. They're defending their kill.
Exactly. If they were just wolves about, you would probably be more inclined to do like animal handling. But it's not impossible. I mean, by no means. So you pick a skill. I already have the DC set, and then just like tell me what you want to do with that skill, if that makes sense. And
okay. I'm thinking here.
Okay.
So what did you say I had like I can pick anything?
Yes, you
and
can
then
pick
try to use
anything.
it however I want. Okay.
Yes, as long as it makes sense to the situation.
Okay. My stealth and perception are the same. So
You're gonna try to stealth around them.
yeah, I don't know if I actually want to. You know what? I'm gonna try animal handling.
Okay.
Okay. What I actually want to try to do is see if I can get them to let me close enough. And I want to add the blue mushroom to the meat. Because I know this is a mood enhancer. And I know that these wolves have been very aggressive recently.
Okay.
Hoping, possibly, that it could get them to relax, at least for a little while.
Okay. Go ahead and make an animal handling check. With advantage because we're in the Silver Dell. Okay. 17, is that what plus what?
17 plus 3.
Okay. So 20.
Yeah.
As you come closer, being very careful, you know exactly how to engage a situation like this where wolves would be feasting on their kill. Stepping.
And I do have this ability, Speech of the Beast and Leaf. It allows me to communicate in a limited manner with beasts, plants, and vegetation. They can understand me, but I cannot understand them back.
Okay, is that a racial ability?
Druid ability.
Druid ability. It's not like a spell or
I
anything?
think it might be a Firbolg.
Okay, but it's not like a spell or anything?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So as you come closer, you're probably about 30 feet away as you step on a dead stick, and it makes this sound on the forest floor. As the wolves peer up, and they look directly at you, blood all around their mouths, as you can see basically the innards of the dead bear as they're feasting. They have this weird look in their eye where they're not quite sure how to perceive you. But as you begin to step ever so slightly closer and closer, their mood doesn't appear to change. It doesn't appear to get worse. As you come within 10 feet, you hear a very faint growl coming deep within, but nothing that kind of would make them jumpy, as they kind of back off from the bear a little bit as you get closer. They are now kind of maybe 6 or 7 feet away from the bear as you come up to basically the innards of the bear. You take out the blue mushroom, keeping eyes on the wolves who are just standing there looking at you kind of intently.
Grind it up in my hands a little bit.
Okay.
Brush it.
You grind it up in your hands, and you basically do your best to kind of sprinkle it over the bear. And as you take out the mushroom, you see that like this fluorescent blue glow is no longer apparent. I mean, it's there when it's alive, but it's still kind of blue. As you sprinkle it amongst the dead carcass, and you begin to step away. As you step away 15 or 20 feet, the wolves kind of like sniffing the air, looking around, go back to feasting more calmly than before. Before they were ravaging it. They begin to feast once more, and through a matter of probably 25-30 seconds, become more calm. And yeah, So, good job. Is there anything you wish to do in this situation, or we will continue on to back to Figure? Okay.
I feel like I've done good to the forest. You know, the forest gave me the mushroom, and then I've used it to help it in a reciprocal manner.
Okay. Well, as dusk is now just setting, amongst the forest, it's just now getting to the point where, it's really dark outside. You come upon your hut. As you can kind of see in the distance, the orange amber kind of emanating from the windows, and the lantern outside left on because Figwin knows you're out and expects you back. Venturing towards the hut, you open the door and essentially, would you like to describe the hut? Because I don't want to give this presence.
It's just a small wooden hut. The outside's been covered with a light coat of mud, just because helps keep the wind out and everything. Small kind of thatched roof, though it's not necessarily thatched, just more of a small branch.
Okay.
Small branches woven.
I'm thinking of
vines and such.
I'm thinking of Radagast from Lord of the Rings. His little forest hut, or from The Hobbit.
Yeah, but it's just very. It's very natural looking. It's not like a log cabin.
Got you. It's very okay. I see what you mean. The architecture is very primitive.
Yeah, on purpose though. We want to be symbiotic with the nature.
Understood.
Especially, we don't want to be too obtrusive.
Understood. As you come inside, Figwin is currently. Actually, would you like to describe your mother a little bit, just so I can have a better?
I think I'm about here. Let me pull up my character sheet because it's actually I don't think that actually translated into a spot in Foundry, my age.
Okay.
Because I want to just correlate that with her. So I'm 60 years old. And the big issue, the attack and everything happened when I was about 30, so it's been about 30 years since everything's happened.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. It's
been a
been
minute.
quite a while. Yeah. So she's probably 100 or so, I would imagine. And I think Firbolgs can live up to 300 or so years old.
Okay. So I'm just gonna picture a fairly common Firbolg.
She's middle age. Her hair isn't as bright orange as mine is. It's a little bit more of a darker, more of more aged copper.
Okay.
Sort of color. Back hunched, probably working on dinner, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure that to be ready for me when I got home.
Okay. Yeah, you walk in, come through the door. She's immediately startled a little bit, as you can kind of see her concocting this brew in this pot over a small fire pit. The fireplace going off in the other side of the room. But as she's cooking this pot, she kind of jumps a little bit. She goes, "Oh, Iljor, how was your day?"
Sorry. Well, it went well. I saw Alderwood on the way home, one of the treants.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
There were some wolves that were causing some trouble. I actually ran across them while I was on my way home. I used one of those calming shrooms on their kill, and it seems like they might be a little bit tamer for at least a little while.
She takes the wooden spoon from the pot, sits it down, takes the rag out from behind, kind of wiping her hands off. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you made it back okay. You've been in this forest for quite some time, but I always worry about you. All
right, it's okay.
I took the owlbear that you killed, and brewing up a stew. So it should be ready any moment now. Anything, what did Alderwood
You get
say?
some of that moss that I really like.
The moss?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see if we have any left. You go through that like crazy. So she looks back in her pantry and is kind of looking everywhere. And the night passes fairly slowly as you sit around. Within the next 25 minutes or so, she has poured bowls for both of you as you sit around the table in front of the fireplace. The fireplace kind of illuminating much of what the inside of this hut. The faint flickering of light kind of bouncing off the walls, and the slight sense of owlbear. I keep wanting to say bugbear, dude. You don't know how many times I wrote bugbear, and I was like, that's not what I mean. I mean owlbear. The slight sense of owlbear stew amongst the place. Very, very quiet. You hear the outside cicadas singing. As she is eating from her bowl, she looks up at you from across the table. Iljor, I was wondering, what do you think about most of the time? I mean, do you like living in this area?
Love the forest here.
Well, yes, I know. I don't mean... I know the forest is great, and I love the forest too, but I mean, like, I don't know, maybe moving closer to Anchorage, or... I know, it's been a while since we lost your dad, but I don't know. I'm just wondering what you think, if you feel at home here.
I would like an opportunity to read up a little bit more, possibly. About... It still seems so strange, everything that happened then.
Well, that was a long time ago, I suppose. How do you like the soup?
It's delicious, Mom. Thank you very much. I'm glad we still had some of that moss left. It's about to go out of season.
Yeah, you need to go out there and get as much as you can.
At least we can fry it over the fire so it'll last a little while.
And she takes a few more sips. The night passes, well, I guess the evening passes pretty quickly as you finish up your food. You take a moment to kind of help her clean up and putting away the dishes, cleaning up what there is of the of making the food. Washing the dishes, she does her best to kind of, do her best washing the dishes. As you are kind of meandering about doing various tasks around the hut, just kind of preparing for bed.
Sure.
She breaks the silence, though. And you could hear her from across the room. Iljor, there... She sets the rack down. There's something I've been meaning to talk to you about, and I can't... I don't know how long I could go without sharing this information with you. It's something that... Well, I just think I need to share with you.
What is it?
She walks over to, essentially, what would be like the couch, like the living area, room area. She goes and sits down. Please sit down.
Take a seat. What's wrong? Is it something about Dad? Is it because I brought something up earlier?
No.
Sorry.
No. It's not your fault, Iljor. It's nothing to do with you. You did nothing wrong. It's your father was. Well, needless to say, he was a very outgoing individual. He accompanied the tribe on various quests throughout the Silverdale, and, well, I suppose it's not his fault, but where do I even start? He ventured out some time ago with the tribe, and he found something. It was an amulet of sorts. He showed me, and she kind of takes this this kind of not shawl, but like this cloth out, and in it is kind of like it's like folded, like it's folded up, like there's something inside. I've been holding on to this amulet for quite some time now, and I just don't know how much longer I could bear your father's last possession and burden. This thing he brought home a long time ago, he mentioned he found it in an archaeological dig. Something the tribe was doing several hours away. He found it underground. He sensed something about this. And I can't for the life of me figure out why he kept it. He explained that he needed to take it away from the forest, that he felt something about this that just needed to be, well, taken out of the forest. He brought it home, and I didn't really question him much on it, but I just thought it was an amulet. Maybe a remnant of an old kingdom. You know, the old Falkirk. The Silverdale was much different before you were born. Anyways.
Imagine just how much it's changed while I've been alive.
This thing, I can't bear to hold on to it anymore. There's something about this that I guess what I'm trying to say, Iljor, is that I don't want it here anymore. I don't feel... Just look. And she takes the cloth and unfolds it one by one. And you can see this. Let me go to the items. If I can find it.
Did you put an image in?
I did. Can you see that?
Where? Oh, yes.
This amulet, as you can see, she's holding it in this cloth. But this amulet is exactly how you see it. It's like this star with this kind of swirl effect in the middle and 5 green gems. Upon viewing this amulet, you get this kind of uneasy feeling. You're not quite sure what this amulet invokes, but you know it's nothing good. Being a resident of this forest for quite some time and being able to differentiate between certain things, certain objects, this amulet doesn't appear to hold a sort of good spirit. But you don't know what the power it holds, essentially. You don't know what it does.
I just know that it ain't good.
Yeah, just viewing it is kind of like you get this uneasy feeling, and you can only imagine how long Waysfair held it and your mother for the last 30 years. But she takes it in her hand within the cloth. This thing I've kept for your father for 30 years, and I need you to take it. I need you to take this out of the Silverdale. I don't know. Your father's not around to answer my questions anymore. I don't have a good feeling about this. And with the way the world works, especially nowadays, I don't know what to do, Iljor.
Take it, do you have any clue about where he was taking it out of the forest? I mean, I don't know. Where?
I don't know. I think when he explained it to me, he just wanted to take it out of the forest, take it far away from our druidic tribes. South, away from where we lived. I'm not saying you have to go and chuck this into the ocean, but any way that you can get this thing far away from us. I just don't like it anymore, Iljor. And she folds it back up and she sets it on the couch in between you two. I don't want to put you with this burden. When I go, I don't want you to be here all alone. And you find this thing, and it gives you the same uneasy feeling that I've had for the last 30 years.
Sorry, 1 second. I spilled some water on my desk.
No, you're good.
It was like leaking off the motor. 1 second. I gotta go grab another Kleenex. I'll be right back.
No, you're good. Man's spilt his water. Man.
Okay. We Gucci. It was just like a kind of a little bit of a lot of water.
You're good.
Okay. I'll take it. I mean, I don't.
Just take it.
Do you think it
Just take
might
it far. Throw it. Just get it out of the Silverdale. I don't think it's good for either of us to have around here.
Do you think it could be related to what happened?
I dare not say. Personally, I don't think so. He had it for quite some time. Before that, I don't know, Iljor.
Oh. I mean, maybe I could take it to somewhere to see if we could find out where it's actually from. I mean, because there could be more of this stuff in the forest. And I can't let that happen.
There could be. But I remember your father coming home after the archaeological dig, and they didn't find anything else. I'm not even really sure if he disclosed it to the council. You could take it and find out exactly what it is. And I don't know if that puts my mind at any rest, but
I like hesitantly reach out and grab it and quickly put it in one of the outside pockets of my bag.
Okay.
Like, I don't really want to touch it.
I'll go ahead. Put that on you. As you take the amulet, store it away, Thigwin gets up and almost as if nothing happened, just resumes back to washing her dishes.
It's 2 pounds?
Yes, it's weighty.
Fuck, I was gonna put it in my... I actually don't have room in my backpack. Shit.
You already have 30 pounds? Oh, yeah, you probably do have 30 pounds of gear.
I have 29 pounds.
Damn.
Fuck.
I mean, you could have it on you. It doesn't have to be in your backpack.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But she resumes the dishes, and you thinking hard on what you're going to do with this thing when you get out of the Silverdale is kind of what goes through your mind the rest of the night as you lay your head down. Night passes almost as quickly as it came. You are somewhat unable to sleep as thinking for approximately an hour and a half about the adventure ahead, taking this thing far away from the Silverdale and coming back and enjoying, finally having like at least peace of mind with your mother. If this thing has been troubling your mother, that's enough to kind of, okay, we need to do something, or I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
But you wake up the next morning, fresh-faced, thinking about the amulet once again in this burden. I guess, what do you choose to do now?
It needs to get out of the forest. The fastest way for me to do that is to go to my Roki and head out.
Okay. You trek in the early morning hours. You going straight to Miroki?
I'd say yeah. I need to take care of this right away.
Okay.
I'll say goodbye to my mother, and after this has been troubling her for 30 years, I need to get rid of it.
Okay. What exactly are your plans in Miroki exactly?
Probably catch a cart out of the woods. Probably I'd probably actually go to. Here's the real question: do I want to go to Anchorage and find out more about it? Because that'd probably be my best bet there, or immediately get it out of the forest. That's the real question. I feel like I need to know more about it first before I chuck it in.
Okay.
God knows where.
Okay.
So I'm actually gonna get Anchorage.
Okay. Well, I'll actually let you ponder and figure out what you want to do. And this will complete the first session. This is kind of the setup. So, whether you choose to go to Miroki, catch a cart somewhere out of the forest, or go to Anchorage, I'll let you make that decision. And then when we convene for session number 2, we'll see what you find and who you might encounter.
Oh yeah.
All right.